Fred Lewis is making a surprising return to Gold Rush after being absent for much of Season 14, with many fans wondering what prompted his comeback. The veteran gold miner, often criticized for his lack of success, is featured in an episode titled Down, But Not Out. This time, Fred has some unresolved business, and his return is marked by an emotional full-circle moment as he reconnects with Parker Schnabel. For longtime viewers of the show, Fred and Parker's relationship goes way back, creating a sense of nostalgia for when Fred first joined Parker's team during Parker's Trail. In the episode, Fred seeks out Parker for help with his ongoing struggles in gold mining. Fred candidly shares that despite the setbacks, he is not ready to quit and is still looking for work. Unfortunately, Parker, who has also been dealing with his own challenges this season, doesn't have any open positions to offer Fred. The two men share a respectful conversation, and though Parker cannot provide Fred with any work, there are no hard feelings between them. The scene ends with the two embracing, marking Fred's departure in what feels like a symbolic return to where his gold mining journey on the show began. Fred and Parker's connection stretches back several seasons. Fans will remember that Fred joined Parker on his dangerous expedition to Papua New Guinea during Parker's Trail, a special where Parker retraced the footsteps of his grandfather, John Schnabel, who served as a soldier in World War II in that region. Fred had replaced Ness on that journey, brought in because of his experience as a Special Forces medic with combat expertise, making him well-suited to handle the unpredictable and hazardous environment of Papua New Guinea. Unlike the earlier seasons of Parker's Trail, this was a particularly unstable and treacherous area, and Fred's skills were invaluable during the expedition. His presence helped ensure Parker's safety during the adventure. Despite his military background and leadership experience, Fred's career in gold mining has been turbulent. From the moment he debuted on Gold Rush in 2020, Fred has struggled to find his footing in the mining world. Now, 4 years later, he remains a polarizing figure. While some fans admire his perseverance and the fact that he employs fellow veterans, many viewers question his abilities as a miner. His lack of success over the past few seasons has led critics to believe that Fred simply doesn't have what it takes to make it in the competitive and grueling world of gold mining. His decision-making is often seen as questionable, and it's not just the viewers who feel this way. His own crew has voiced similar concerns. In fact, Fred's struggles as a leader have been a point of contention within his crew. When he first appeared on the show, many of his team members were vocal about their dissatisfaction with his leadership. After his first 2 seasons, some of his crew members were glad to see him leave, expressing their frustrations to Ness, another well-known miner on the show. Buzz Legault, a standout member of Fred's crew, was particularly blunt about his experience working under Fred. Buzz eventually left Fred's crew to join Rick's team, where he expressed relief at the change. He famously described moving from Fred's team to Rick's as being like coming from hell into heaven, a sentiment that resonated with viewers and fellow crew members alike. Buzz's candid remarks revealed the extent of the crew's frustrations, and it was clear that many of them were unhappy with Fred's management style. Buzz became an instant fan favorite during his time on Gold Rush, largely because he appeared to be the only member of Fred's crew who knew what he was doing. While Fred made a series of bad decisions, Buzz often stepped in to clean up the mess and keep the operation running, even though it rarely resulted in profits. Many viewers felt that Buzz should have been the one leading the crew, as his competence stood in stark contrast to Fred's frequent blunders. Despite Buzz's efforts, the crew never made much money under Fred's leadership, and the financial strain took its toll. Buzz even admitted that during his last 2 seasons working with Fred, he didn't earn enough to cover his personal expenses, further highlighting the dysfunction within Fred's operation. Fred's poor leadership and lack of profitability have fueled speculation that he may not return for Gold Rush Season 15. His absence from the early episodes of Season 14 only intensified this speculation. When he finally returned, it was clear that Fred was still struggling to find work. Parker, who has a reputation for being a shrewd and successful miner, had no vacancies on his team, leaving Fred in a precarious position. While Fred's persistence is commendable, many fans and critics alike believe that his pride and refusal to take guidance from more experienced minors are key factors in his lack of success. Fred's decision to employ fellow veterans has earned him some respect among viewers, but it hasn't been enough to win over the majority of the audience. His inability to turn a profit, combined with the dissatisfaction of his crew, has left many fans doubtful that Fred will ever make it as a successful miner on the show. As Gold Rush continues to evolve, it remains to be seen whether Fred Lewis will find his place in the gold mining world or if this latest appearance will be his swan song. While Fred has certainly faced his fair share of adversity, both on the show and off, it's clear that his journey on Gold Rush has been anything but smooth, and the future remains uncertain for the veteran gold miner. Fred Lewis might be making a return to Gold Rush, stirring up plenty of conversation among fans. Last season, Fred became one of the show's most divisive cast members. He started out as an inspirational figure, often speaking on behalf of veterans and their causes, which initially garnered support. However, as the season progressed, many viewers felt that Fred's status as a veteran was being overemphasized to distract from his lackluster performance. Whenever Fred wasn't talking about it, the narrator often brought it up, and the constant focus seemed to wear thin on fans, especially as his mining efforts failed to meet expectations. Throughout the season, Fred struggled to find gold, rarely met his mining goals, and often seemed to offer excuses for his shortcomings. By the time the season wrapped up, many fans were calling for his departure. Discovery appeared to take that feedback to heart, as Fred was absent when Ness returned to the show, joining Parker Schnabel and Tony Beats, three successful miners who quickly left behind the disappointments of the previous season. But now, Fred's reappearance might shake things up once again. This time around, Fred won't be in charge. He's already squandered that opportunity. Instead, he's looking for a job, and he's approached Parker Schnabel to see if he can join his crew. While it's unclear whether Parker will take him on, some fans on Reddit are speculating that Gold Rush might introduce Fred to create more drama. One theory circulating online is that Fred Lewis could end up working for Ness. After taking time off last season, Rick has been putting together a new crew, and Fred's search for work could lead him to Rick's operation. On the surface, this pairing makes sense. Fred wants to keep mining, and Rick is in need of workers. But bringing Fred into Rick's crew could spark some serious tension. One reason for potential conflict is Buzz Lego, a key member of Rick's team and a fan favorite from last season. Buzz was part of Fred's crew before joining Rick, and he didn't hold back about his experience working under Fred. Buzz remarked that last season with Fred was so bad that it didn't even cover his travel expenses. He described working for Fred as hell, and his disdain for the situation was clear. If Fred were to join Rick's team, Buzz would no longer be working directly under Fred, but the memories of last season's failures would undoubtedly resurface. Some Reddit users even floated the idea that Fred could end up working under Buzz if he joins Rick's team, potentially flipping the dynamic from last season. This role reversal could add a whole new layer of drama to Gold Rush and might give viewers the spectacle they crave. Either way, it seems Fred Lewis is making a return to the series, and whether he works with Parker or Rick, his presence will likely shake things up. What do you think about Fred Lewis returning to Gold Rush? Should he work with Parker Schnabel, or would it make more sense for him to join Ness's crew?